Hey, YouTube. How's everybody doing today? Look at this. You see us all on the screen, right? You see somebody doesn't look like the other. Remember playing that game when you guys were younger? As you can tell, it's the VVU episode number 7. We're back at it again. Myself, Curtis Edwards. I'm joined with Joe Maurer, Philip Armstrong, and Jeremy Merrill. Jeremy Merrill is currently on location at VMware Explore. Did I say that correctly? I mean,
got it.
It's a new name, new name this year. So as usual, thank you first and foremost for the amount of views and the feedback that we got on our VVU number 6. That was, for those that haven't seen that was with Sam Niami. He joined us and it was a very good conversation. So please go back and check that out. A like, subscribe, comment on this video and any of the other videos. So as usual today, we're going to talk about VxRail when it comes to DPUs. We got announcements and conversations around vSphere 8, around what's called vSAN ESA. We're going to talk about that. We have things about a new modular architecture for the edge. That should be an interesting conversation. You guys ready to get into it? All right, let's start. Let's see, where do we start? Well, let's start at the top, right? Obviously, Jeremy, your background is not like ours. So why don't you tell the people where you're at, what's going on?
Yeah, I'll give everybody a little quick view here. So we're on the expo floor at VMware Explore, and you can see it's coming to entrance. We got Intel right here, which is a great partner for VxRail, and right through there you can see real quick. You can see the Dell Technologies booth with some of our VxRail marketing folks there. And then if we go over to the left over here, I think it is. You know, Curtis, you just mentioned one of the things there, or right next to us, I think it is the NVIDIA booth as well, talking about some of the GPUs that we announced today.
Well, I mean, since you're standing by the DPUs, right, or standing by NVIDIA, one of the announcements we made was, you know, an HCI-based DPU solution partnered with VMware. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Or Joe, Philip, can any one of you guys give us a little background on what that is and what that announcement was, why it's important?
Sure, I'll chime in, I guess, here, and since I see Jeremy wandering around as well and going through, it's great to see the live view of what's going on at VMware Explore. And I will, I wish we could be all out there together doing this together, but it's great to at least still be able to do it here virtually together. But speaking of DPUs, they are also known as data processing units, effectively a card that is inserted into a server platform, obviously very high level, but it does a lot more than just the data processing. It's designed to be an intelligent processing component that's an add-in to an existing VxRail HCI solution. And one of the requirements, enablements, we talk about it briefly as well too, is that it's going to be a vSphere 8 aligned or release. So it will require vSphere 8 as the foundation to run the data processing unit. And the enablement, at least initially, is with NVIDIA, formerly their Mellanox Bluefield 2 DPU card as what we've worked with, partnering with NVIDIA and obviously with VMware as part of their Project Monterey to be able to enable and deliver VxRail HCI enabled DPU capabilities.
Awesome.
Yeah, and the key thing there also, Curtis, right? We're talking about this in context of VxRail. You get that continued, the joint partnership, enablement, support, lifecycle management, all the goodness that you guys came to love VxRail. We're extending that to the DPU as well.
Yeah. So I was going to say, oh, sorry, Curtis. I was going to.
No, go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead.
I think that's one of the key things there, right?
Absolutely.
DPUs themselves are a hot topic right now, but the fact that we're extending that lifecycle management that we do with VxRail out to the DPUs, and it's not just another component in the server, but another managed component by VxRail and VxRail Manager. It's a huge win.
Huge win. The continuous validated state continues.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, of course, Joe, you mentioned, right, it's going to require vSphere 8. And part of the re-architecture of vSphere 8 was to be able to support these DPUs. And, you know, what's going to be new that you guys want to share with vSphere 8 or vSAN ESA, or both for that matter? I see a camera. Is that a camera moving behind you there, Jeremy?
Oh, no, I'm going up an escalator.
Oh,
So I think the other thing, as you mentioned, Curtis, was vSAN ESA, right? So, we also announced that we'll have VxRail platforms that support vSAN ESA when it goes GA, or within our SIM ship deadline, I should say, of that 30 days.
Let me interrupt because we know we use acronyms like there's our second language, right? So the ESA is the enterprise storage architecture. So the vSAN enterprise storage architecture is
Express
the
storage
new
architecture.
vSAN approach for vSphere 8.
Correct.
Right.
One of, I should say.
Yep. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry to cut you off.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's the Express storage architecture. I always want to call it enterprise as well, but it is Express.
Oh, is it Express?
It's Express, yeah.
Oh, man.
But through the keynote this morning, they were talking about some of the benefits when they first announcement. I think it was 4x performance, native snapshots and things like that. So a ton of additional features being added into vSAN, which is already, for a lot of our customers, running a lot of their business critical applications as it is today. I mean, just imagine 4 times the performance of what some of our customers are running. So it's going to be a huge win for those customers that are running vSAN in their environment.
Are there any special requirements that's going to be necessary to take advantage of this vSAN Express storage architecture?
Yeah, it'll be supported on the P670N and the E660N. So with that single tier architecture from a disk group perspective, we'll also have the all NVMe based platform support for it.
So all NVMe. So that's going to be the only option for it as out of the gate.
Yep, and
Correct.
I'll chime in here too as well, just to be aware, something to be aware of as you're thinking about this. And you see this new functionality with vSAN ESA. As of right now, the VxRail platforms that are going to be enabled and support the new vSAN ESA architecture are going to be a specific set of VxRail node types. So not something that you can directly go out and buy a VxRail node right now today and have that available for ESA. So just to be aware, something to kind of be a heads up for as we get closer to having those VxRail specific platforms that support ESA. We'll have more information available for our customers, field teams, sales teams to be able to configure, quote, those specific.
And alongside quoting of the new vSAN ESA, there is going to be standard vSAN, so to speak, standard vSAN, right? So not every customer needs to go down the path of the ESA. If they want to continue down the path that they already are aware of or already using with vSphere 7, they can continue that path, right? Out of the gate, there will not be any mixing of the clusters between each other. It's going to be one or the other, things like that our customers need to be aware of. So 4 times the performance, but Jeremy, you're saying it's going to be all NVMe, right? So when you start to consider all NVMe, somebody's going to, I'm sure there's going to be a customer or even an account team that's going to be like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so expensive because it's all NVMe, right? But there's things to consider. You're not utilizing cache drives that you don't use for actual capacity and storing of information. You now have all the drive slots in the system that can be used for capacity, right? Because every single thing is conveying capacity to the new ESA. You have pricing of NVMe, which we never really talk about pricing, but really when you get into the system, you price things out. Pricing of NVMe versus the high-end SAS drives are not that much different. So I think it's going to be, from a TCO perspective, it's actually going to be it's a cheaper solution to go down this path.
Yeah, I agree.
What else we got? We kind of quickly talked about the DPUs. It's going to be a pretty short video today. We might have to do an addendum or an additional video if there's more announcements tomorrow or the next day, Jeremy.
I think there was one more, right, Curtis?
Oh yeah,
the new modular edge.
Yeah,
the edge, the modular edge configuration. Don't we have satellite nodes? That's not good enough. No, that's not what we're talking about here.
I think the key thing here, though, is the modular aspect of it. So we do have satellite nodes for those.
Satellite nodes are modular. You can stack them on top of each other.
Yeah, but they're not clustered, right? They're all kind of a shared nothing architecture.
Right.
So the modular ones that we get now that we announced today, for those out there watching, think of a 2U form factor based system, maybe rack width, maybe half rack width in a flex mount chassis, but being able to populate that with 1U or 2U sleds, essentially, if you will. But I think when we think about it from the edge perspective, the key thing is that platform will also have the option for an optional witness for a 2-node deployment.
Built into
embedded.
Built in, right?
That's right.
There's a card on the right hand side.
So you remove
Yeah.
You remove the complexity of the remote witness, right? It's built into it.
Yeah.
Reduces complexity. It's a huge win for our 2-node customers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can have a self-contained 2-node system, yeah, where you don't have to worry about where am I going to place that edge. It's just a little module that sticks into the node architecture itself. Pretty slick with what they're doing with that architecture.
Now, you mentioned it's small, it's compact, 1U, half width, full height, half width. 2U, half width servers. Aren't these supposed to be ruggedized as well? I mean, aren't they supposed to be like all the goodness that comes along with bumps and dust and shocks and maybe not water, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're spot on there, Curtis. Yeah, and they come from the heritage and the family of what Dell's been doing for their ruggedized systems. Same ruggedized platforms that Dell's been doing for a number of years now, in terms of having that ability to basically be in non-traditional conditioned data center environments.
Yeah, and from a ruggedized perspective, this is going to be our smallest form factor to date, right? When it comes to ruggedized solutions.
Yeah, and the other thing too, they're short depth too. So they're not your standard rack. Short depth. They're not your
short depth.
Rack depth.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point, right? So lots of options for it. I mean, the edge is a perfect place, but there obviously can be used in other places as well, right? Any place you need to have a ruggedized solution, whether it's on ships, military aircraft, military vehicles, whatever the case may be, right? Police,
or your house,
cruisers, if you want to. You could have it in your basement, in your crawl space. If you live here in North Carolina, maybe, climate control crawl space, who knows, right? The sky's the limit. Just know that we have it, and it doesn't take as much power as a full-on P series. So very easy to run. So we talked about DPUs. We talked about vSphere 8. We talked about vSAN, ESA. We talked about the modular edge. Did we miss anything? Was there anything else from the show floor or anything else you gathered from any of the keynotes or anything that you've been privy to there, Jeremy, that you can share with us?
Well, I think, some of the keynote stuff, obviously everybody's, multi-cloud, I think, is the new buzzword here of probably this year, next year, and probably into the future. So there's a couple of things VMware is doing with multi-cloud that I think will tie in well to our overall multi-cloud strategy. Plus things like Apex. We had a couple of Apex announcements today. What is it, Chris? I think Tanzu support on Apex.
Tanzu support on Apex, right? Being able to on VMware Apex cloud services with VMware Cloud, being able to enable the Tanzu service to have our customers take advantage of all the necessary goodness, all the goodness that comes along with Tanzu in their environment. And it'd be just as easy as flipping the switch, and then they start doing what it is that they need to do.
And then just from the show floor, so I actually walked out here while we were talking, so I am outside. But you'll notice there's I'll have to go look at the name, but there's a little area here, and you can see on the other side of this is a Topgolf Swing Suite Go. So Topgolf has been a tremendous VxRail customer, VxRail supporter. Along with Thursday, I'm doing a presentation with Mercy Ship. I know that New Belgium Brewing is doing some presentations out here as well. But having some of those customers out here talk about their VxRail experience has also been great, and we always appreciate everything that they do. And there's a DJ playing in here, so that's why I'm not walking into this area, because I don't know how loud it will get. But a nice little relaxation area for everybody to hang out, swing the golf clubs, and see how everything else is going.
Well, as Joe said earlier on, we're happy that we get to virtually take part with you right now. I mean, we would much rather be there to enjoy the lovely food that you probably had for lunch, right? That's one thing that sticks in my mind is the great food that they have for lunch. You got it. You know what? Let's table that conversation. We're probably gonna get in trouble if we go down that path and badmouth the food.
We won't be invited to another.
I will not be invited.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, as usual, thank you very much. I don't think there's much else for today to discuss, but there might be more announcements, right? So maybe we'll add when we do the posting of this, we'll put this up on YouTube like everybody's used to, and then on our engineering technologist website, if there's more announcements, maybe we'll put some more stuff there and link to it accordingly. So guys, be on the lookout as usual. Like I said, comment, subscribe on the bottom. The more people that like this video, the better it is for us, because it lets us know that we're actually doing something that you guys care to see. So with that, I will bid you guys adieu. And Jeremy, safe travels home. Enjoy the rest of the show. Please keep us abreast on anything new that comes up.
Yeah, absolutely.